All right, guys, welcome everyone into our coverage of the State of the Union 2026. I gotta warn you guys before we start this stream. I'm not in the office right now, so I'm actually in an undisclosed remote location. We are in Mogadishu, Somalia, as we speak, trying to get our money back. And so, the Wi-Fi out here in Somalia can be a little spotty. Maybe it's questionable. So we'll see how long the stream goes. That's not actually where I am, obviously, but point being, we're going to try this stream, though, nonetheless, and everyone's just going to have to trust the plan and hope we make it through. But figured we might as well do the standard watch party reaction stream. We've done this a couple times on the channel, so, we're going to sit here. We'll give you our pre-speech analysis, post-speech analysis, of course, watch the speech, and talk to you guys. I don't stream a lot anymore, so it's nice to interact with the audience in real time. And that said, let's get into it, guys. If you're watching, guys, do us a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And if you have questions, comments, thoughts throughout the broadcast, feel free to leave a super chat down below, and we'll get to it either at the end of the stream or in the middle if we have a break because Al Green starts shutting down the speech again or something. But yeah, all right, that said, let's get into it. It is currently, let me actually put this broadcast to the live. It is currently 8:46 p.m. Eastern time. The president is expected to arrive here shortly in 14 minutes. Yes, I am a special ops. Yeah, I know. You're on a secret diplomatic mission, okay? We're getting our money back. We're getting our reparations this time. No, but I did really want to briefly cover the Democrat alternative event. I know a lot of people haven't been talking about this for a specific reason. It's totally irrelevant, but, I felt the need to point it out. So tonight, just now, the Democrats tried to host their alternative event. This is being known as the People's State of the Union. It was attended by true rock stars like Adam Schiff, Senator Ed Markey, Pramila Jayapal, and you can see it's being hosted here on the steps of the Capitol. And I watched through some of the speeches. I'm not going to make you guys sit through that pain. But yeah, to make a long story short, it was basically the standard No Kings protest, except nobody actually showed up, okay? You can tell it looks extremely dead, extremely sleepy. I mean, just listen to that energy. It's high energy out there. Someone says they just watched Adam Schiff. Okay. Well, that you saw what we saw. So, this is being lauded, of course, as the big Democrat alternative Democrats are vying. We're going to go boycott this event. And honestly, the great tragedy of that is that nobody's going to care. I mean, if Democrats were going to do some big alternative, you would think you would put, hey, AOC, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris even, right? Like the 2028 list, but instead, no, a bunch of random grandstanding senators and congressmen who are completely irrelevant outside of their deep blue districts decided to go and hold this whole event. And it was basically a joke. You can see here as well. I guess some Trump supporter tried to storm the stage, although I gotta be honest, watching this video, it seems extremely staged, but check it out. So this is apparently what happened.
Order! I stuck in the border. Go Trump! Go Trump! Hey, Murphy, thanks, man.
So, look, I don't want to slander this guy because maybe he is actually a real Trump supporter or something, but, it actually just reads like the caricature of what Democrats think Trump supporters are. This guy's just going to storm the stage and say, go Trump, boo. Yeah, it's because, and by the way, the political reason they might feel the need to do that is, of course, because Democrats are the party who has for a very long time been known for, these stupid antics where they rush into stuff, they block roads. So I guess they're trying to make the point, hey, this Trump supporter ruined our speech and we booed, and it was awesome to see him thrown out. But even then, unlike typical left-wing protesters, you notice the guy gets up there, and I don't avow the behavior, but the guy gets up there, interrupts, makes his point, and leaves. He doesn't stand there for 30 minutes to 30 days screaming, no justice, no peace. But, you have this whole situation. And again, the great tragedy to me, folks, is that I don't think a lot of Americans are actually watching this garbage. I have not checked on mainstream media. I don't think they're airing it either. Because my big hope tonight is that Democrats, politically speaking, from a political perspective, right? Not from a viewability perspective, but politically, I hope that Democrats look as stupid as possible. I hope Al Green does his big stunt again. I hope they have all the stupid signs and, all the normal antics that they've done in the past. Tear up the speech, do whatever you got to do. Because I think we're in a moment right now where obviously the propaganda machine is turning strong. And so now they're trying to say, oh, well, ICE is going too far. This is a low point in Trump's presidency. So I hope that all of America watches the Democrats and realizes, hey, I forgot how crazy these people are, right? I forgot how stupid and off-putting this political party actually is. Sorry, haven't seen Adam Schiff in a while. Oh, there he is. Oh, yeah, that's why I'm not voting for these people. Because, frankly, the more that Democrats actually put themselves out there, especially the B team of Democrats, right? The Adam Schiffs of the world, the Pramila Jayapals, the, what's her name, Bonnie Watson Coleman, the girl who tried to storm the ICE facility. I would argue the more that Americans are reminded of why the approval ratings are so low for that party. They constantly cite, oh, Trump's approval rating is at a current low right now. And then in every single poll, whenever you ask the American people their approval rating of the Democrat Party, you notice it's always still 5 to 10 points lower than Trump. So, you have that. Now, I will say, as it pertains to the speech tonight, if it is true, right, that right now is a moment where Americans are like not feeling so good about the presidency or whatever, well, now is the time when Trump needs to hijack, I would say, first of all, the immigration issue, right? Because yes, it is true, we are unfortunately in this position where, despite the fact that leftists completely incited the whole thing in Minnesota, okay, they caused all of that, but the optics of, oh, look what happened, this is so bad, ICE is going too far, okay, this is the night, this is the speech where Trump has to get up there and remind everyone why ICE is there to begin with, right? Why it is necessary to even have immigration enforcement in this country. So it's being widely reported that he's going to bring angel moms to the speech and basically make the Democrats look. This is the product of your policies. These are the sanctuary. This is the byproduct of sanctuary states. This is the byproduct of open borders, and really force them to have to confront that, right? Because I'm so tired of being on the back foot about this. Oh, well, here's why what ICE is doing is correct. No. How about here's why what Democrats are doing on immigration is fundamentally wrong. And in case you forgot, because Americans have such short memories, here's why illegal immigration is bad, actually. So that's going to be an important moment. I'm sure Trump's going to do very well on that, because every time he's had to give one of these states of the unions, immigration is a very easy point to argue, but you need to redefine the conversation right now, right? We don't want to keep on being on the back foot. We want to be on the offensive and say, no, Democrats are the problem on this political issue, because they obviously are. As it pertains to the economy, I think you also have to kind of counter a lot of the Democrat doom and gloom message there that, hey, look, are we where exactly we want to be? No. Am I saying we're in the roaring 20s or something at the moment? But no, but there are positive signs, as I predicted, by the way. 2025, a recovery year from the COVID Biden bubble, and, things are coming back to reality. We are seeing positive signs of the economy trending up, okay? Inflation, despite all of their, inflation is skyrocketing, it's not. It's actually cooled down a lot, especially inflation of consumer goods. As a matter of fact, the only real significant inflation we're still having in our economy is healthcare due to Obamacare. But, beside that point, okay, yeah, talk about the GDP numbers and talk about, hey, the optimistic long-term vision, right? Because all this talk about, the tariffs and this and that. Okay, explain what we're doing, how for instance, positive GDP growth or cooling inflation is directly related to, say, big, beautiful bill, say, the record foreign investment that we're getting in this country as a direct result of tariffs. I think that's the point a lot of people miss. Oh, why do you need to practice protectionist trade policy? Look at how much our U.S. dollar is below standard in foreign exchange markets. And it's like the whole point of that, yes, is to attract foreign investment, which we're getting a lot of. So we'll talk about that as well. And again, I'm just going to go back to this point. More than Trump, I would say the best side by side right now that Americans could get is if Democrats make yet another stupid show, okay? As, the angel moms are being acknowledged, watch, I hope the camera pans to the face of Democrats who are shaking their heads, nodding, or saying no, basically, to the whole situation. I hope you see them sitting on their hands as, say, the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team is celebrated as well. So we'll get into all of this here, guys, starting here very briefly. That said, let me check on the live chat really quickly. Omar sends a member chat saying, good to see you, bro. Long time no stream. Yeah, I know. We deeply apologize for this, but the schedule nowadays, like just too many videos. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. So I don't know. Maybe in the next year we'll try to fit streaming in, but then again, I say that all the time. And that said, I think we have something going on here on the stream. So let's go live to that. Someone got announced. Wasn't the president yet. Okay. So here we are, guys, on standby. Stupidity of Democrats. No, exactly. That's what needs to be on display tonight. And again, that's why I say, I truly wish this People's State of the Union thing, honestly, someone can check me on this because I'm not watching the TV broadcast. So did mainstream media air the People's State of the Union? Because I hope they did. I'm being so serious. I hope they did. I hope everyone saw Pencil Neck on the screen talking nonsense and just being a generally off-putting individual and said, hey, that guy's a clown. I hope some Americans even thought, really, Democrats are now not even showing up and thinking that's kind of childish. Yeah, please show that. And noticing the empty seats here, by the way, I did see a headline earlier today that allegedly we are now up to 72 House and Senate Democrats who are boycotting the speech. So expect the Democrat caucus to be doing some social distancing tonight. Anyone remember that? Remember when Biden did the event where he had the circles? Okay, the Democrats are going to do the circles tonight. That's actually what they're doing. They're social distancing, they're quarantining. But yeah, you definitely do seem to notice, right? On the left side of the House, if I'm not mistaken there, and I'm guessing that's the Democrats because you have all the feminist ones wearing white. Yeah, a lot of empty seats. So we'll see in the end who actually is in attendance. Now, it's kind of questionable at the same time because you would think, hey, if you're a Democrat, at least to launch your own, for instance, presidential ambitions, if we're talking about AOC, if you make some iconic face at the camera and it goes viral, all the stupid No Kings liberals will be like, oh, I love that. She's so strong. So it's kind of a give and take. But yeah, Hakeem Jeffries, as we did report, is attempting to make the party not embarrass themselves this year. So he's basically saying, hey, just sit on your hands. Don't hold any stupid signs. Don't do any Al Green moments. Oh, I'm a geriatric caveman. I'm going to scream with my cane. But who knows? Who knows if Hakeem even has, first of all, control over his delegation like that? I think that's an open question. I would say, secondly, Democrats did indicate they would be plotting some type of walkout in the middle of the speech. So, that'll be a spectacle to see. And again, I hope they pick the perfect time. I hope Trump acknowledges something like Angel Moms or the U.S. hockey team or some military thing or whatever, like honors the troops. And that's the moment Democrats all say, okay, we're getting up, because again, I want America to see who these people are, right? When all the media coverage is wall to wall here, hey, here's why Trump's bad, and they don't show the alternative, then I guess some people will conclude, oh, Trump is bad, the alternative must be better. No. So keep that in mind for Americans in the center here, okay? So there you go. The circles help fill the room. Yeah, they're going to have to put this, put like the dummies. Anyone remember the COVID year during 2020 when we had the fake fans in the audience? But all right, that said, it looks like Trump is now out, or is that Melania?
And with some of the guests that she brought.
She announced earlier that she was bringing 2 young female students who exemplify 2 of her policies related to AI education and foster youth services.
Okay, so there you have the First Lady. Someone says, where's AOC? From my understanding, at least what I heard other media figures say, AOC also is joining in the boycott, but she didn't show up to the People's State of the Union because I guess even she understands that some of these random no-name House Democrats are complete embarrassments, and ironically, she actually does not want to be associated with them. But yeah, from my understanding, that's where AOC is. Okay, now you see Marco Rubio filing in members of the cabinet. So there they are. There's Scott Bessent. There's Pete Hegseth. And, I have to say, perhaps it would honestly be funny if the Democrats just straight up didn't show up at all. That would be honestly quite the sight to witness. And, imagine how, first of all, efficient the State of the Union would actually go. But then secondly, we could just sell the seats. Hey, you want to raise revenue for the Treasury? Let's just sell the seats to the State of the Union to our loyal supporters. And you know what? Like, we'll just be like the North Korean Congress, right? Everyone's just gonna That's a joke, by the way. But no, seriously. I mean, that's the thing too about this boycott. If you're going to not show up, okay, then go all in on that and have the camera keep on panning to the empty seats. I mean, that would be a spectacle to witness for sure. But all right, let's see what we got going on in live chat. We are waiting imminently. It is now 9 p.m. Eastern time, so I don't want to get on a brand new thought here. But any liberals, well, I regret to inform you that some of them did show up, but they are noticeably less than last time. I'm telling you, maybe by 2028, we'll have a fully empty House chamber on the left side, on the Democrat side. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Let's see what we got, Scott. What we got going on here in our live chat, guys. Feel free to super chat any questions, comments, thoughts you have, especially while we're sitting around here waiting. Let's see. Democrats need to hire better actors. I heard that Rachel Zegler lady does a good job. No, well, I mean, that's the thing, is that if that is an actor, which I don't want to speak preemptively, okay, maybe he's just trolling, maybe he was messing around. But if that guy who showed up to the People's State of the Union is an actor, it's just a prime caricature of, I guess, what Democrats think Trump supporters are, right? I'm just going to reiterate, it didn't seem all that real. It kind of seemed like a guy out of one of those like political ads that has the stock footage in it, you know, and all he says is, "Go Trump, Trump." It's like, I don't know. Wouldn't you think a ideologically motivated protester would have more to say than getting up for 2 seconds and just screaming, "Trump, Trump," and then running off the stage, right? It looks extremely staged. Not going to make accusations, but it looks extremely staged there. So there you have it. Anything good from the Department of War? Well, they're noticeably silent right now for very obvious reasons. So I will just say first and foremost, I have not been able to attain any insider knowledge as to what's going to happen any more than you. The strategic secrecy has definitely been a big component of the way they conduct their operations now. So I don't know. We'll see, right? We'll see what even ends up going down in the Middle East. I don't have an answer to that any more than you. I'm planning to do a video about it soon because I think it's a complex situation. We got to break it down kind of from both sides. But yeah, no insider knowledge there. Let's see. I haven't seen Linda McMahon. Is she the designated survivor? I believe the designated survivor. Aren't they just some random White House person, or is it usually a cabinet staffer? I'm not exactly sure on that. I don't know. Someone can check me on my knowledge of civics there. What is the outcome we want from this? I'm genuinely curious. I'm from a small town and don't know much. Okay, I would say two things, right? Right now, the heavy, wide-scale institutional media narrative has been having Trump on the back foot over this immigration stuff, some blah, blah, blah about the economy. Tonight is the night where Trump needs to redefine that issue, right? Kind of put Democrats on the back foot. And for instance, the moment where he's going to acknowledge the angel moms of people killed by illegal aliens, you could say it's political or whatever, but that is the moment that we actually need on this, okay? We need to remind Americans, amidst all of this anti-ICE propaganda, the very reason why ICE is there, why deportations are necessary, why you voted for this immigration agenda just less than 2 years ago, right? Because tired of being on the back foot on that issue. That's number one. I would say number two, I hope that Democrats make a show. Genuinely, I do. Because I want the American people to remember how ridiculous this party is, okay? You notice that when the media coverage is entirely anti-Trump, kind of Democrats are not in the center spotlight because Trump's in the center spotlight. It's just Trump is bad, Trump is bad. No, we need to remind everyone, whether or not you're a center-of-the-road American, you like Trump or not, that's your alternative, okay? There's a reason why a lot of people in 2024 said, hey, voting Democrat is more insane to me than voting Trump, even if I didn't like Trump. Remind those people in the center why they did that to begin with. So, that's going to be very important here. Evergreen Scooter, thank you very much, sends a member chat saying, the designated survivor is one of the department secretaries as they're already in the line of succession. Okay, I see. So in that case, maybe she is. All right, how many Democrats do you think will stand up and protest this time? Well, this is the question I'm curious to see. You see them right now, actually. A bunch of them are sitting down. Typically it's customary to stand up and acknowledge the president as he comes in, but looks like they're planning on not doing that. It's worth noting that Hakeem Jeffries did try to wrangle in his own caucus. He basically sent out this internal memo saying, look, last several times, we made ourselves an embarrassment with the stupid signs and the out green. So he's telling his party this time not to do that. Just sit there in silence and stare and don't make any noise, don't cause any problems. But again, that said, it's still a question of, does he actually have control over his own caucus? Because you well know that many members of the party are constantly backstabbing each other, trying to usurp each other for leadership, and, you know, ultimately caring more about their own personal political brands than say what the party leadership actually has to say. So who knows if Jasmine Crockett or one of those such people just decides to get up and start screaming. I've also heard Democrats are planning to just do a silent walkout, to which I say, oh yeah, you really just proved something so much there, right? He was talking, you got up, you walked out, and this is supposed to prove what exactly? There's a protest against Trump. Yeah, we know that Democrats don't like Trump, okay? Actually, Trump aside, yeah, it's American politics, okay? Democrats and Republicans don't get along. Is this supposed to be revolutionary to us? Is this supposed to be something new? But who knows? All right, it looks like it's starting, guys, so let's tune in.
Of the United States.
Leadership is behind him.
People are saying he needs to fix his hair. No, that's true. I hope someone tells him, because if not, you're going to see wall-to-wall coverage in the media about his hair. So he's got some static here going on. Someone give this man a comb. Because you know what's going to come next, okay? I still remember back to 2020 when Mike Pence destroyed, I know Mike Pence, but still, Mike Pence destroyed Kamala Harris in the VP debate. And all people would talk about was the stupid fly that landed on his head for like 30 seconds. And I was trying to point out, hey, Mike Pence annihilated Kamala Harris. That was no, but the fly. So, you know, maybe we shouldn't say anything. Let's hope that CNN doesn't notice and pick up on this. But I'm sure Blue Sky is already furiously tweeting about this. Or maybe, I don't know, on the central camera it won't be that easy to see. Who knows? But you see him there meeting with the military generals. His Democrat hairdresser did that. No, it's true. Who's the traitor? Who's the traitor in the ranks? Oh, there's Fetterman. Shout out Fetterman. I don't know. Maybe it'll make him look more youthful or something, right? No, it doesn't look that bad, actually. Look okay. Depends on the camera angle. Dude, it's cold. Everyone has static. No, I know. I don't care about it. I'm just saying, okay? You know what they're going to do with this. So everyone fix the camera angles right now, all right? Let's do some filters. Trump got static hair because he got the power in him. Thank you so much, Evergreen. So true. So true. This is how we need to respond. We're going to just start making propaganda memes of him with, like, lightning next to it. All right.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Look how half the Democrats don't stand. You gotta be in unison. Come on. Trump's the reincarnation of Zeus. So true, L.A. Thor. Thank you for the two.
Well,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America. When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
Oh, they're walking out. There's Al Green. He's already leaving. What does the sign say? Black people? Black people? Oh, someone's trying to grab. What does it say?
We will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back.
Black people. Okay.
Today, our border is secure.
I want to see what that sign says. All I saw was black people. Guys, that's all the sign. Black people.
Today, our
everybody.
border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States.
Good topic to start on.
But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years.
True.
And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem well, at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both.
Illegal aliens. You got to mention them. Immigration.
And we're going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
Because of tariffs, by the way.
Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest. As thousands of new businesses are forming and factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil.
Yeah, the Democrats are the most mad about this one. They're on their phones. Look at them.
Natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today, and 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps.
Democrats are pissed about this too. Can we cut to them, please?
And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Let's go. Nostalgia, by the way. Total nostalgia with that. All right, we got to cut to the Democrats. All right, can we see? Are the Democrats cheering them? This is the question of curiosity. Where's Don Lemon? We got to see Don Lemon's face. I know. Let's see the Dems. What are we doing, guys? They're saving them. They're saving the Democrats.
Go ahead. Thank you.
All right, so some of them are clapping, like a handful of Democrats, but most of them are not. They're on their phones, some of them even still. Yeah, see, look at them.
That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up.
Correct.
But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House. They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck.
Should have invited Carney. Special guest up in the rafters, Mark Carney.
Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. Do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you all. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles.
Now, Gavin Newsom's going to ruin it. He's going to sabotage it on purpose. But no, we need the best opening ceremony.
And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place, and now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news. So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Wow. Let's see, are the Democrats going to be mad at this too?
So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety.
Patriot. So reluctantly, the Democrats are standing this time. I guess they have to.
People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together, we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
True. They're clapping. They're clapping to raise your taxes. Well, there you go.
They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead.
Yeah, clap for that, Democrats. That's
But
what you
we held
wanted.
strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
And that's what they're acknowledging they opposed.
And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people.
It's a very underrated policy, by the way. We don't talk about it enough.
When I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school, and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad.
Very tremendous guy.
So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth, and the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong.
True.
They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without.
True.
Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America. For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. from trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration. Everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly use the word affordability, a word.
True.
Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
Boom. Yeah. Stare in silence. Stare in silence, you moron. Great line. Great line. Honestly, most important part of the speech as it pertains to economics.
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it.
What are you laughing
They
at?
knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward.
What you looking at, Pocahontas? Anything to say?
The price of eggs is down 60%. Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost.
Yeah, anything to say, Raphael?
In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened, and now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before.
We got the geriatric here.
Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way. And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big, Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase, but a few weeks ago, she logged onto the TrumpRx website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500. A reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom. So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing, I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you.
Newscomb will do
Many
it.
Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down.
That's big.
This is a unique
That's really
strategy
big.
never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes.
It's a very populist economic tone, but I think it's working.
And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
Cut to Pelosi and Dan Crenshaw. Yeah, Warren's pretending like, she never knew anyone that did that, guys.
They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she was here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance.
I think she was the one screaming. That's a lie. It's not a lie. Your own family's involved in it. What are you talking about? Where's Nick Shirley? I heard he's here with the fraud jackets.
And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime.
True.
We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Coleman was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
We've spoken a lot about this, folks. Dad supports it. Let's see what the Democrats think.
And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them.
Boom. Exactly what we need. I guess one Democrat is standing and getting scolded. Did you guys just see that? And yeah, I mean, this is what Americans need to remember, unfortunately.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice, we'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislature to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Oh, wow, let's see. Look at that. Not a single Democrat stands. Well, there you go. There you go. He put him on notice. Okay, one Democrat is standing. Blast that everywhere. Awesome. Just awesome. I guess Fetterman stood up? Okay, Fetterman stood up. There you go. Of course he did. But where's the rest of them? Look at that. Put it directly in all their faces. There's Mark Kelly, supposed moderate, by the way. Supposed political moderate. Doesn't agree with the statement. Doesn't think that U.S. government should serve citizens over illegal aliens. There you go, right? Oh, he's just a wholesome astronaut. I think he's a little more than that.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country.
Kick them out. Kick them out. Kick them out. Take her back to Somalia right now. Get the UN involved if we have to. She looks like she's gonna cry. Why is she so upset? Personally offended, Ilhan? Huh?
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID.
No, that's Jim Crow 2.0, right? Where's Chuck? We gotta get Chuck. Is Ilhan gonna scream again?
All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason reason they don't want to do it. Why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John.
Is Ilhan still screaming?
And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty
Yeah, he's not happy
University.
about this, guys.
Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
They're sick. Party of castration, fraud, and illegal immigration and crime.
Thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately.
Whole Democrat Party disagrees. Show that as well.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you.
Yep.
They're crazy.
Oh, another supposed moderate, by the way, Ro Khanna. Yeah, look at him.
Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
She wrote affordability on her blazer. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
No
What a
one
costume.
cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady. Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal.
True, honestly. I've noticed it.
This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind.
Still not all of them are standing.
We love religion,
Wow.
and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
Happened just days apart, too.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand?
They didn't stand again?
I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen?
Yeah, the Democrats are
In
mad.
fact,
No
crime
crime?
in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all
Biden
because she wore
refugee,
the
by the
uniform
way.
of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Evalie. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it. So sorry. Thank you very much. She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying, and after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much.
Again, okay, all right. Finally, he's like, oh wait, I'm obligated to stand.
So Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared.
I love when Democrats just try to pretend as if it's not real. That didn't happen. No, Cambodia and Thailand are never shooting missiles at each other. Fact check, false.
And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco.
The Supreme Leader.
People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever.
And best Chief of USAID ever.
Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead, and those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time, and they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
He's grinning. I'm curious what he says about the Middle East.
It had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republican in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed, at my very strong request, to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 4. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to
it's the fossil.
Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently.
That's a bad thing, Democrats? The military enlistment is up?
Recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For $1 more, we can have $1,776. It's going to... I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more. I said, $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it, so we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also... We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Save the best foreign policy part for last.
And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that.
They're mad about that.
Damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby, because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice.
She's upset. That was her hero. Her favorite narco-communist. She's crying. Look at her. She's crying about Maduro. You can't make that up. She's crying.
This was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down.
Oh, now the Democrats want to stand. That's pretty cool, though. They did close the prison in Caracas. That part is true.
Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter, a big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, two machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission. We probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take the searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife Amy. Eric and Amy, come on in.
What a patriot.
So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
What a badass.
Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg, we have it back, we brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions.
Wow.
In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor.
Wow. So he said Soviet warplanes, I guess? The secret encounter? Wow. It's right out of Top Gun. Imagine that. Almost an ace in your first dogfight against 7 planes. Wow.
Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. 2 of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel. And then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Look how quickly the Democrats are filing out. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is President Trump's State of the Union Address 2026. We'll give you our reaction here in just a second, but I do want to briefly acknowledge some of the super chats we received during the speech. So let's get to these really quickly while you watch Trump walk off the stage. So Anonymous tips $5 saying, "Thank you for not panicking on the SCOTUS tariff ruling. I appreciate your analysis on the topic." Thank you very much, Anonymous, whoever you are. World Eater 359 says, "Got to get rid of all CCP shills, please. Dems pretty much showed that they aren't for Americans here. We should scold them." Well, that was sent pretty early into the speech, but we'll address that here in just a moment, because I was waiting to hope, maybe Trump will do that, right? You got to directly call out, because who knows if the cameras are panning or not, right? Please verbally mention when Democrats are not standing. Hey, you won't stand for saying that American citizens should go above illegals. Some of you wouldn't even stand for the hockey team, many others. So we'll get to that. Wildlander Crazy Bear for $2 says, "He did it. He went after John Thune." Well, that's a very pressing matter as it pertains to the SAVE Act. World Eater 359 for 2 says, USA, USA, what a hero. And for another 2 says, he looks like Tom Brady and John Cena combined. I assume you're referring to the helicopter pilot there? He kind of does. That's true. So we appreciate the support, guys. Feel free to leave your own thoughts or comments on the State of the Union tonight in the Super Chats. I'll get to those at the end. But really quickly here, do want to turn off this volume and just give some of my thoughts here. So let's start big picture by going back to what I said in the beginning, right? I think that what Trump has to do tonight is turn basically 2 months of hardcore liberal propaganda on its head. This is primarily, of course, pertaining to the immigration issue, right? That was a huge moment where a lot of Americans, even some in the center, frankly, even some that are sort of, we might call more squishy or milquetoast on the right-wing side, said after the whole Minneapolis ordeal that, hey, you know, I don't know if we're really with this. Maybe they're going too far, all this. Okay, and so what did I say? I said Trump has to seize the opportunity tonight when he has the platform and the audience of the American people, because the media and even social media certainly aren't going to do it for him, and flip the immigration narrative back on its head where it belongs, right? Remind Democrats that they can't just take 2 incidents that, by the way, they entirely provoked in Minnesota in order to make the American people forget the wide open border, first of all, that we had under the prior administration, but it goes even deeper than that. The absolute havoc that illegal immigration and even mass migration as a whole have wrecked on our economy, and Trump seized 100% on those very points. We'll get to those specifics in a second. And then secondly, I think the kind of underlying issue here is the economy. Now, I will concede that, you know, the economy is not perfect, and certainly there's a deep mess that we are climbing out of. But what I think Trump had to do tonight is paint the message of optimism, right? We are seeing plenty of positive signs. Inflation is slowing down, despite all the Democrat claims about skyrocketing inflation. That is complete projection. It is slowing down. Hey, talk about those gas prices, talk about those energy prices, but even went so far as to mention what you could call some of his maybe populist economic proposals. I don't know. You could also call them common sense on some level. But I thought, especially to, say, the independent voter, some of those specific mentions of, say, the Trump accounts or even AI energy demands, right? Basically saying he will not allow AI data centers to share the same electricity as the rest of America, and AI companies are going to have to build their own electricity centers. That's been a huge particular issue in many of these states that are dealing with a tech boom, right? So I appreciated that a lot personally. Even went on to speak about, say, the homeownership issue, right? Getting private equity out of residential single-family real estate. And we even had a mention on insider trading within Congress, which Trump managed to directly name Nancy Pelosi. So that was really good, right? And as I said, those were going to be the 2 important issues tonight. Can you spin, first of all, the Democrat narrative on immigration to show them what anti-civilizational lunatics they are and the problems they've caused? And then secondly, on the economy, can you again reverse the image of doom and gloom to say, hey, look, it's not perfect, but there are a lot of positive signs in the right direction. And by the way, I think I most appreciated when Trump directly turns to the Democrats there and mentions, hey, you guys are talking about the affordability crisis. Really? Let's remind ourselves, yes, the entire inflation and affordability crisis was caused by you. That's what we need to remember tonight. And what did I say about it, right? Tonight, not only is it time for Trump to highlight accomplishments or whatever, this is a night where I want the American people to remember who the Democrat Party is. You cannot just ignore, I would say, the elephant in the room, but I guess in this case, the donkey in the room. And by mentioning the Democrats directly and by pointing out the various times where Democrats would not stand, I thought that was brilliant. You heard some other, aspects on foreign policy. He kind of kept the same stance of Iran, of strategic and tactical ambiguity. He mentions the Venezuela operation. You see Elizabeth Warren there in tears over Nicolas Maduro. And as usual, as we see every year, Trump brought in some pretty amazing special guests, some pretty touching moments there as well. Democrats notably this year seemed like they were clapping a little bit more, because last year they wouldn't even clap for the kid with cancer, DJ. Remember that whole situation? So I guess they sort of realized what an optical nightmare that was and are trying to reverse. Although, again, you notice at various points, not all the Democrats still stand up, right? And who can forget Ilhan Omar completely just screaming like a lunatic throughout various points of the speech, and she looked like she was hysterical and going to cry. Again, that's what I wanted the American people to be reminded of. And Democrats, hey, maybe didn't act as hysterical as last year, but still did that. You had Al Green throwing up the sign in the beginning saying black people aren't apes and getting kicked out. I don't know the exact timer there. I'd like to know, is it probably about 2 to 3 minutes into the whole State of the Union, already getting kicked out for the second year in a row? My question is, at what point do they just have to issue a criminal trespass on the Neanderthal there from entering the Capitol building, right? He's got to vote remotely now. There's a restraining order from entering the Capitol. But, there you have that. So that's it. I kind of was taking notes throughout the speech, and we'll go through the specifics, right? The chronological order of the issues Trump hit. First and foremost, he basically started off by reminding everyone what he inherited. And folks, some could see it as excuse making, but no, that's very important to note because, American voters can be very fickle where they just don't like the current thing and constantly want change. So it is important to periodically remind people, hey, you might not agree with everything that the administration is doing. Say you're an American in the center, but please remember 2024, right? Remember what the country was like when Democrats were in charge, because how quickly they forget. So, a very important point to hit. And he, of course, opens, as Trump typically and normally does, by mentioning the southern border, right? Because again, this is the time where we have to turn the immigration issue against the Democrats. We can't keep being on the back foot. ICE was acting in self-defense. No, we have to be saying directly to the Democrats, this is the pain, the death, by the way, you want to say killing, the death, the carnage that you have reaped on Americans. And so he begins off by mentioning, for example, that not only do we have a sealed off border, not only have 0 illegal aliens been released into the United States over the past year, but even the flow of fentanyl, for instance, is down 57%. Obviously very important. He then goes on to mention the inflation numbers and how factually they are down, okay? Consumer inflation outside of healthcare, by the way, is relatively low, okay? Significantly lower than it was under Joe Biden. The pace of wages is outgrowing it, and specifically you look at things like gas prices, yes, egg prices, yes. Trump even mentions that beef is beginning to, they're working on even bringing that down. So that's sort of a moment where it's like, hey, we know what your frustrations have been, but, again, I think as it pertains to the economy, some would say, oh, no, you're sounding like the Joe Biden supporters. You're sounding like the Democrats. But I think it is important to point out, hey, economic recovery always happens slower than people would like it to be in their heads, right? Because these issues are complicated. And yes, when you have had such record inflation, oh, here's Abigail Spanberger. Should we take a listen? All right, let's just see for experimental sake.
In the chambers of the House of Burgesses.
This is the Democrat response.
In 1705, the people of the Virginia colony gathered here to take on the extraordinary task of governing themselves. Before there was a Declaration of Independence, a Constitution, or a Bill of Rights, there were people in this room. The people who served here ultimately dreamed of what a new nation, unlike anything the world had ever seen, could be. The United States was founded on the idea that ordinary people could reject the unacceptable excesses of poor leadership, band together to demand better of their government, and create a nation that would be an example for the world.
Oh, so, that's so funny. Whenever Democrats sound like they're about to do the patriotism thing, which always sounds insincere, but they're like, hey, let's incite our founding. Let's, talk about the American Revolution and the founding ideals of this country. It immediately goes to the no kings rant, right? Watch, that's what she's going to say. Whether directly or indirectly. See, Donald Trump is King George, and that's why, it's really patriotic to be liberal, don't you know? The real patriots stand with the foreign invaders and criminal illegal aliens, right? The real patriots stand with all of the hostile actors against America, both domestic and abroad. The real patriots support communist insurrectionists out in the streets, right? All right, let's take a listen.
And this year, as we celebrate 250 years since
Blah, 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 blah.
working to keep Americans safe both at home and abroad, is the president working for you? As I campaigned for governor last year, I traveled to every corner of Virginia, and I heard the same pressing concern everywhere. Costs are too high in housing, healthcare, energy, and childcare. And I know these same conversations are being had all across this country.
Okay, so as you can see, Democrats are trying to run into the midterms and even potentially 2028 on the issue of affordability. This is, of course, a very easy thing to do when, you know, you're the opposition party. And so whatever problems people are having in their lives, Democrats can sit there and argue, hey, well, that's because of the Republicans, right? But that actually brings me into the next point I wanted to bring up about this speech, because you notice that every time Democrats obviously get into office, they make things less affordable. That's very basic. We know what happened under the last administration. But that said, tying now back directly into Trump's speech and addressing this whole affordability thing. Oh, yeah, Dems are the party of affordability. There was even some random congresswoman tonight with the words affordability written in Sharpie on her blazer, which I have to say is really, really classy, very elegant looking. You just wrote a bunch of graffiti all over your suit. But anyways, so on the economic kind of section of the speech, Trump, of course, begins by citing the Big Beautiful Bill, specifically the part of the Big Beautiful Bill that permanently codifies and makes forever the Trump tax cuts of 2017, as well as, of course, brand new, primarily working class tax cuts, by the way, okay, because the rich people are not living on these things, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. And he made a point to say, hey, Democrats, you guys oppose that. You guys were against that. Democrats stood up and clapped and said, yeah, we voted against the Big Beautiful Bill. And yet, of course, this is the party claiming they're campaigning on affordability. It's just completely full of crap, as we know. They're going to campaign on affordability, and somehow it's going to help affordability by raising your taxes, which is not exactly a big conspiracy theory, considering Democrat local governments all across America right now, even in the same election year where they're campaigning on affordability, are already trying to raise taxes. Zohran Mamdani and the property tax thing is a prime example. But by the way, I would even point out about Spanberger. Despite the fact that her state is currently in a $3 billion budget surplus because the Republicans left them in a good fiscal state, we covered the various different taxes, including, by the way, sales taxes that Virginia Democrats are trying to implement right now in the working class. So, good point for Trump to make. Okay, affordability. Oh, yeah, the party who is openly not quietly saying it, not claiming, oh, we're just going to keep the tax rates the same. No, openly campaigning on raising taxes is, of course, the party of affordability. What a joke. He went on, of course, to have that very moment where he directly says, yes, remember, the affordability crisis is due to the Democrats, basically points at them, tears them apart, actually, as pertains to the real changes in consumer prices and how inflation has drastically slowed, okay? The numbers there do not lie. And then even I appreciated personally the point at which he goes to the one thing in our economy that is still inflating rapidly, and is, of course, healthcare, and likewise presents, of course, his Trump solution to healthcare, but also points out the very reason, guys, why healthcare also is so expensive in America, and that is likewise because of the Democrats. So, as I said, it was a very important platform to try to take this whole affordability nonsense away from the Democrats. Again, look at what they are literally doing, even the ones that are in office right now, and what they did the last time they were in office. Very good point to be making there. And then lastly, of course, Trump shifts to the very reason why Democrats are, first of all, right? The very reason, actually, what Democrats mean when they say affordability. And secondly, the reason right now why so many Democrat states are having to raise taxes because of their fiscal crisis. And that's, of course, the issue of fraud. And you did notice when Trump mentioned the whole Somali fraud situation in Minnesota, Ilhan Omar had her insane, ridiculous meltdown. She looked like she was going to cry. She's screaming, "That's not true!" So, again, the plan by Hakeem Jeffries to get Democrats to just sit down and be quiet didn't work all that well in the end. But not only, right, makes it about fraud. I thought it was a brilliant transition. Goes on to point out that, hey, the types of patterns and behaviors that you saw from these Somali criminals in Minnesota is actually not that abnormal around the world, which is, to paraphrase basically what did he say to transition there, right? It's a prime example of import the third world, become the third world. And no, we cannot be importing people from all of these places around the world where this type of stuff is culturally normal. And again, that's what Democrats support, which is, of course, then when he transitions to talk about the illegal immigration issue, and even specifically Americans who were injured or killed by illegal aliens. Because Democrats, all they want you to talk about and think about right now is, these 2 Americans were killed by ICE after, getting themselves into very dangerous armed situations with law enforcement. And, for that very reason, we have to be canceling all deportations. ICE needs to be abolished, et cetera, et cetera. So, of course, he brings the examples, right, of, I believe it was the young girl who was critically injured, if I'm not mistaken, right, I believe so, right, by an illegal alien truck driver in California back in 2024. By the way, on this channel, we've heavily covered that issue of the illegal alien truck drivers straight up murdering people on our roads. And Trump, of course, citing the Americans who have died and citing the obvious basic safety concerns of people who cannot speak English, gets up there and says, I'm calling on Congress to ban all illegal aliens from holding CDLs. What happens in that moment? Such an important moment, such a like mask off. This is who they are for the Democrats. Not a single Democrat, if I'm not mistaken, stood up and clapped or acknowledged that, right? The Democrats are against it. The Democrats. So that's the moment where this has to be shifted against them, right? The Democrats are the party who support illegal aliens murdering people in gigantic commercial trucks, okay? These people double speak. They lie about everything, right? They scream affordability while they raise taxes. They scream don't kill Americans while they refuse to stop illegal aliens from killing Americans, even when it comes to basic common sense legislation like, hey, they shouldn't be having CDLs. So that was a big moment. Of course, the angel moms, all right, another situation where, Democrats refuse to really sit there and acknowledge. I personally love the moment when Trump said straight up, he actually called on the members of the chamber and said, stand up and clap if you agree with this statement. The primary function of the American government is to put first and foremost the interests of American citizens before illegal aliens. Obviously, the whole Republican side stands up and claps. I think maybe 1 or 2 people on the Democrat side clap for it, but the overwhelming 98% of the entire Democrat Party would not clap for that statement. That needs to be campaign material right there. That needs to be blasted all across the country, okay? And I thought that was probably the best thing Trump did was, don't kind of just make offhanded comments about the Democrats, directly address them. And I think so many years of doing these State of the Unions and noticing what the Democrats wouldn't stand for, right? You got to start calling that out. So there you go. That was big, and look, am I exactly surprised? No. But if the goal of tonight was to remind America of who the Democrats actually are, not this maybe fake fantasy they have in their heads, then that was very important. Let me see what else we got on the list here. So we have, obviously, the Charlie Kirk acknowledgement. I did notice, if I'm not mistaken, many Democrats did not stand for the whole thing about Irina Zarutska. Basically that, hey, violent repeat offenders should not be let out of jail to terrorize our citizens yet again. So that was a big moment. Not transitioning children, yet another thing where, I hope the camera was panning on all the broadcasts, right? Democrats would not clap for that. And I think that basically recaps it. I think we covered the foreign policy part and all that. So yeah. So overall, I think good speech. Probably one of Trump's better State of the Unions. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily rank them all, but I thought kind of the directly confrontational nature, given all the issues that Democrats are virtue signaling about in modern America, very well done, okay, in that regard. It certainly achieved its political purposes. Again, I think the news narrative over the past 2 months that's been heavily anti-Trump, we're always on defense as the right wing, that's kind of the speech that puts you back on offense, right? That's a good reset for sure. And so that said, let me know your thoughts, guys, in the live chat. Feel free to super chat. I know we got a few, so let me get to these. Husker Meltdowns for $10 says, love the message, but there's a lot of people only focused on Epstein. I don't know why Trump is willing to die on that hill. It throws so much shade on everything that's good. Well, I mean, I think in total fairness that a lot of the, I will say the Epstein crowd of 2026, right? We're talking about the people who didn't care about it until basically last year when they figured out it was a political cudgel against Trump, likely the same characters who were calling the original Epstein interested crowd back in 2019 or whatever, conspiracy theorists. I mean, let's be honest about this. These people, a lot of these people are just straight up also bad faith actors. Like, we have to call that out as well. There's a lot of people who don't really know about the Epstein issue, don't care about the Epstein issue. They just see it as a political ploy, basically, to call Trump a pedophile or whatever. And I mean, you even notice that in a lot of the a lot of the Democrats tonight in Congress, by the way, they have these badges on that say "Release the files." Basically, and this has become a rallying slogan, basically, right? Release the files. Okay, but the files have been released, right? That passed Congress. The president signed it. The files are being unsealed. They've been, to my knowledge, okay, the great vast number of them have been put out there. What files exactly are you calling to release? And then, you know, you even notice so often in the political conversation, you know, they'll try to bring up something anti-Trump and say, oh, well, Trump is bad because of the Epstein files. And then, you know, they did a recent bar fight right now with Michael Knowles and some liberals about this. And they asked the liberals, like, hey, what specifically in the Epstein files are you talking about? They can't name, they can't cite it because, again, in 2026, this Epstein issue has become, to a large degree, I would argue, a bad faith political weapon. There's a lot of it that's just brain rot. And I'm not saying that, you know, there isn't a lot of truth to maybe the original theory on what was going on, right? But a lot of this stuff has become, frankly, I'm going to be real, actually a distraction from the real Epstein situation, a distraction from other important issues in politics. Why? Because people like Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna want to just grandstand constantly. For example, Ro Khanna invited someone tonight as a special guest at the State of the Union that he claimed was, you know, one of the Epstein victims. And when you dig a little bit deeper into that person's story, let me just say, maybe not the ideal person, in relation to Jeffrey Epstein that you should be inviting. But again, right, that's why I say this issue heavily has become very bad faith. It's very theatrical. I think that it's actually kind of understandable. I'm going to actually make what some might see as a strange defense here, though. But no, it's true, right? I think it's understandable why Trump is irritated with this issue, because the people pushing this issue are extremely irritating and extremely bad faith. I'm just be straight up about that, you know? So you could say maybe he should have mentioned the Epstein files at some point or not in the State of the Union. I don't know. I will also say I think that some of these people overestimate how much the real electorate actually cares about that. It's very popular online, but if we're to be honest, how many Americans actually go to the ballot and vote based on the Epstein files? I'm not exactly sure, right? And as I said, a lot of the people who are pushing it are kind of bad faith actors anyway. So, you know, just something I'm going to say about that. And people can get pissed. And then, you know, anytime you point out that some of the Epstein, like, I don't know if you want to call them the conspiracists, whatever, the Epstein obsessed crowd, right? Whenever you even point out that, hey, factually, you're wrong, actually. Like you can't even, you claim to be this like super big principled moralist on Epstein, and you can't even name basic things about the case. And hey, you're just being a bad faith political actor with all of this, right? They'll respond and they'll say, oh, you're being a pedophile defender. You're covering up for Epstein, you know, yeah, go suck off your pedophile president, whatever garbage they'll say. But again, it's all bad faith, you know? So just what I would say about that, okay? You can't hold badges saying, release the files when everyone already voted and it's the federal law now that the files are being released, okay? Like at that point, it's just grandstanding. It's just virtue signaling, okay? Tell us now what should be done about the files, right? Who specifically should be taken down or exposed because of it. But no, you notice they don't do that. They just scream like, release the files. What about the Epstein files? They don't know what's even in it, you know? So anyways, Marcelo Rodriguez 2226 sends a $10 super chat. I appreciate that very much. Sure, we're going to have people in the chat now who are saying, oh, you're covering up the Epstein files. No. But anyways, Evergreen Scooter for 5 says, I literally drove past the aftermath of that one in Washington. The car was a scrap cube. When they showed who it was embarrassing. Yeah, I believe we did cover that crash in Washington as well. We covered a lot of these stories, folks, because, you know, I'll be honest, it's an issue that personally, when you think about what affects your day-to-day life the most, right? And how many semi-trucks we have to drive past in America. And by the way, I'm sure we've all likewise had this experience. How many questionable semi-truck drivers you deal with. Okay, it's already dangerous to be having to pass them or deal with them on the road. And then you see some of this stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's something that genuinely all Americans have to fear, okay? Hey, don't get me wrong. Even before the whole illegal alien issue was there, I mean, I always knew to not mess around semis, and you know, it was taught to me, hey, you know, if you got to pass them, do it quickly, do it on the left side. But now, I mean, imagine that thought in your head every time you're on a commute. Oh, like this truck driver might be an illegal. It could be someone from India or Somalia that doesn't speak English, and people just don't care, I guess. They don't talk about it enough. That's why we made such a big issue out of it on the channel, by the way, because I thought it was a prime example of this is how crazy their mass migration agenda is, right? They literally, okay, and Democrats are defending it. They were calling it racist to mandate English CDL tests, right? This is what they're defending, is like literal third worlders, okay? And okay, I guess it's politically incorrect to say, but it's literally true. Like people who basically just got off the boat, okay? And these people don't speak any English. They don't know the road signs. By the way, American road signs, I'd point out, are unique to America. You'll notice that when you go to other countries, okay? We have a very unique road system, which is another obstacle to overcome there, okay? So they can't read. They can't drive. The driving, by the way, in the countries they come from is horrendous, okay? You know, many of these illegal truck drivers are from India. Anyone ever seen what it's like to drive in India? Yeah? Total chaos, total free-for-all? Yeah, no wonder why people who just got here from there and don't speak English and are just like basically being used as indentured servants to, you know, make it cheaper for crooked trucking companies. No wonder they're killing so many people on the road. No wonder, by the way, is one example, that crash in Florida where this illegal alien was using an official use only median that is only supposed to be used by law enforcement, right? But he gets the trailer stuck and he gets blocked there. He was breaking the traffic laws while he caused that crash, right? Well, no wonder that's the case. Because do you think in the country he came from, you think in India that anyone respects traffic laws? Nobody respects traffic laws in India. It's a total free-for-all, okay? So it's really an open question of whether people like that should even be driving in this country to begin with. But secondly, the insane, just brain dead stupidity of saying, yeah, that person right there, some random guy in India, you deserve a commercial driver's license in the United States, where we have the biggest semi-trucks, okay? The deadliest semi-trucks, car-centric infrastructure, crazy traffic, let's be honest, okay? Crazy traffic in the United States. Yeah. So, you know, that's why we found that issue so important to constantly highlight. Husker Meltdowns for $50. Thank you very much. Huge super chat. I appreciate it, man. Says, I agree with 95% of what you said, but a few prosecutions would make it all go away and would go a long way towards promoting the idea that no one's untouchable. Thank you for being willing to address it. No reason to read this one. Thanks for what you do. Well, read it anyway, and I appreciate the support, man. Big super chat there. And yeah, look, I don't disagree with you. I think there are open questions of, as it pertains to Epstein, right? Certainly stuff went on, for sure. And I think it would be naive to say that at no point did any of these global elites Epstein was always hanging out with not engage in the same sexual activity, right? But the issue is also going to be proving that in court. You know what I mean? And, you know, my initial theory on the Epstein files was that there's a lot of allegations in there. There's a lot of even potentially affidavits or witnesses or claims made by people. But is there going to be enough evidence to bring down these global elites who were friends with Epstein? And that was always a question of mine that I don't know if we have the answer to. I always thought it was the case, and this is like a 2019, 2020 opinion of mine, that, well, you know, if there is incriminating evidence inside of those, and there's this real, it's really true that the global elites were all in on this and they were all doing the same stuff with Epstein. And in the past several years, wouldn't very likely they cover those tracks up, right? Like, does that evidence, hard evidence, exist in the Epstein files enough to charge? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Was Epstein in a way sort of the fall guy so that everyone else could get out who was, I guess, more important in the global stage? I don't know the answer to that. But yeah, so that's my thing. I mean, totally agree, right? Again, but understand that's sort of the legal hurdle, even if we wanted it to happen, is does the evidence, concrete evidence, right? I know there's stuff in the Epstein files of, hey, they're eating babies, all this, like people were saying things, but do we have the evidence that can be shown and proven in court that, hey, that happened and hey, that's why this person needs to go down? That's going to be the challenge, right? In terms of arresting other people. And, you know, that's always been the issue. And I think that, again, if global elites were in on this, they had to have covered their tracks somehow, you know? And even with the Epstein releases, you definitely see this sense that, hey, a lot of them were friends with Epstein. Epstein was oddly always just asking people for strange information and all this. But to what degree is there hard, concrete proof that other people were in on it? That's the legal challenge. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but that's the legal challenge that they're going to have to deal with there. And yeah, I mean, as it pertains even to Pam Bondi, I'm not sure if the Department of Justice has the tools, we'll say, to even like nail that case. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's definitely an issue. Let's see. Andrew got arrested and stripped of his royal title overseas. Okay, you know, that's a good point, and that part is true. But even I noted in our video on Prince Andrew, what they actually got him on was, or at least what the investigation is about, was alleging that he shared classified UK government information with Jeffrey Epstein as a government official of the UK, and basically illegally leaked British intelligence and classified info to an American citizen. So that's what the initial investigation was about. Now, who knows if they end up finding, hey, you know, really he was involved in the sex crimes. And it wouldn't surprise me if the whole thing is sort of actually a cover story to say, hey, you know, we're basically getting Prince Andrew on a technicality instead of the real crime. You know, it's sort of like when you take down Al Capone for tax evasion, you know, like sure. In a vacuum, what Prince Andrew did with the classified information would be a serious crime, but that's not really the crime that we were necessarily looking for. So I bring that up to say, even in the Prince Andrew case, that's another example of how, at least in terms of what's being tried in court, the hard evidence of basically these global elite figures also engaged in the human trafficking, also engaged in the rape and all of that, is not being presented in legal cases, right? So it's even in the Prince Andrew case, right? It's still a very hard thing, I suppose, for our legal system to prove. Or you could argue that it's being covered up on purpose, even in the case of the UK. Yeah, you could definitely make the case for both sides there. But yeah, that's the situation with Prince Andrew. So anyways, that said, guys, we'll do a last call here for Super Chats. I'm going to end the stream here very soon and get to making our lovely content about the State of the Union. But I certainly hope you guys enjoyed here tonight. And I don't want to end the stream with Abigail Spanberger's stupid face. So we'll change the frame back to the original speech about it. But Probably Base says, I think you're right about the Al Capone comparison, Vince. Yeah. Well, again, like that. What was the Al Capone story? They knew this guy was up to no good. They couldn't prove it. They couldn't nail him. So they found like the technicality to take him down. if Prince Andrew's crime was sharing classified information with Jeffrey Epstein and not other things with Jeffrey Epstein, then yeah, it's, first of all, it does definitely lend credence to the idea that Epstein was linked to some type of intelligence service, you know, some type of asset. But yeah, then secondly, it does sort of suggest maybe either they don't want to try it or they can't find the evidence to definitively nail these other people. So there you go. World Eater 359 for $5 says, seems like in England, if they do awful things to kids, you can get away with it. So I think they only really care about classified info. And yeah, that is absolutely true as well. I mean, I think you have that BBC presenter, right? Wasn't he like a pederast or something like that? And he basically just came out and said he was sorry, he made a mistake, it was some mental health thing, and the whole British media forgave him. Insane stories. So yeah, very, very typical there. But anyways, that said, guys, let me check one last time for super chats, but if we don't have any more, I will wrap up the stream here. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. We greatly appreciate the support. Stay tuned for the videos we're about to make because we got a lot to talk about. But for now, hope you enjoyed. See you guys later.